Today we're going to be looking at a neat old gun. It's gone by several names. You'll hear it called the Smith & Wesson New Departure or the Smith & Wesson Safety Hammerless, but probably the best known name for this gun is the Lemon Squeezer. There's several theories on why it got the name Lemon Squeezer. Some people say it's because of the grip safety. You have to squeeze the grip safety before the gun will fire. Some people say it's because this hinging open top or brake action resembles a lemon squeezer. I'm not really sure which story is true, but I think that it's just a really neat gun. I've been looking for one of these for a while. They're not very expensive. They were made in 32 and 38. This one is a 38, and it's actually a 38 Smith & Wesson, not a 38 Special. So here's what that cartridge looks like. Move this out of the way. They're usually head stamped 38 S&W, and this is not the same as 38 Special. So I've actually got a 38 Special cartridge here. You can see the size difference between those two. 38 Special is longer, and you should not try to shoot a 38 Special in a gun chambered for the 38 Smith & Wesson. But anyway, Smith & Wesson made these guns from the 1880s up to about 1940. There's several different variants of it, several different models, first model, second model. Most of those changes had to do with this latch up here and how it operates. I believe this one's a 5th model 38. One kind of cool feature about these, I think, is the barrel rib. I don't know if you can see, but that rib is machined as one piece with the barrel, and I just think it's some very impressive machining right there. These are cool looking guns, I've always thought. They've got the concealed hammer back here. They're double action only. Here's the patent dates or the markings on top of the barrel. Some markings on the side of the barrel telling the caliber. And then you've got the hard rubber grips these came with, and the Smith & Wesson trademark right there on the side of the revolver. So the way these actually work, for those of you who have not seen a top break before, it ejects all the shells at once, and I've got some just empty cases so I can show you kind of how that works. It does hold 5. And so what you would do is shoot them all. When you open it, it's going to eject them. You can see it doesn't always get them all, but it usually does a pretty good job. And one of the reasons you don't want to fire a 38 Special in one of these is because, if you'll notice, 38 Special is actually longer than the cylinder, so it won't even fit. But I've just always thought these were pretty neat guns with that grip safety and the concealed hammer. I'm sure these were very popular back in the day for people to put in their pockets and carry around. The sights are pretty pathetic by any standard. There's that rear sight. It's just this tiny piece on the top of the barrel, and then there's that front sight, also pretty tiny. So the sight picture definitely leaves something to be desired. But these don't cost very much. You can usually find them used for pretty affordable prices. And they're really neat guns. And we're going to go out and take a few shots with this one. I will show you how to take the cylinder off because it took me a minute to figure it out. So there's no obvious way to take this cylinder off. But what you actually do, you have to pull up on this lever and then the cylinder will just unscrew. So when you're pulling up on that lever, you can just unscrew the cylinder and it'll just come right off. And you can see these threads right here. Or really, I guess it's just one thread. That's how it fits on there. But then to put it back on, it's just the reverse process. You have to pull that latch up. And it will just thread back on there and you'll feel it drop into place, locked on. There's that grip safety. Smith & Wesson actually brought that grip safety back later on some of their J-frames. But we'll go outside and take a couple shots with this. The double action trigger is extremely heavy, but back in the day I don't think people really minded too much. This isn't something you're going to be target shooting at 50 yards with or anything, so we'll go outside and take a couple shots with it, see if we can hit the plate a couple times, and then we'll come back in and give a final overview of the gun. Okay, so we got the Smith & Wesson New Departure or Lemon Squeezer out here. 38 Smith & Wesson. We're going to load it up, take a couple shots at the plate. Like I was saying, this is double action only. Trigger is pretty heavy, but it wasn't made to shoot at great distances. So we're going to see if we can hit that plate a few times. And here's that ejection. It shoots pretty good. It's actually very little recoil, pretty pleasant to shoot. So we'll try a little bit faster double action shooting. See if we can't hit the plate a few more times. Well, faster you shoot, the harder it gets with this thing. We're going to back it up a little and see if we can hit at any distance. Okay, we're back here pretty far for this gun. We got it loaded up. We're going to see if we can't hit that plate down there. I'm going to be shooting pretty slow, trying to kind of stage the trigger a little bit. So we're going to shoot at that plate and see what we can do. 2 hits out of 5 for the lemon squeezer. Very cool old gun. Now Tom's going to take a couple shots with the lemon squeezer. So as we saw, this old gun can still shoot. One thing you should definitely take note of if you have one of these is that some of these guns are pretty old. Some of the earlier versions were designed to shoot black powder and are not rated for smokeless powder. There's even argument whether these 5th models should be shot with smokeless powder or not. So you need to do your own research if you're planning on shooting one of these, and you should definitely have it checked out by a competent gunsmith. But overall, these are really neat guns. They're just kind of a typical carry gun from the past. Somebody might carry one of these around in their pocket back in the day because it's got that streamlined shape, so you don't have a hammer or anything to snag. Got that grip safety, so back then they weren't worried about it going off in their pocket. Of course, thinking on that's kind of changed, and you should really use a holster if you're going to pocket carry anything today. But these are just really neat guns, and they can be had pretty affordably. So if you see one, don't be scared to pick it up because they're pretty neat. Till next time, see y'all.